Hey Ryan, Michael Galloway here with We Don't Need No Stinking Record Company.com, and ironically talking about vocals on a week when I've lost mine. And but there are a bunch of things that I'd like to talk to you about. And you know, when you sing in rock and roll, you don't think about so much about what you're doing to your voice, but you should, because you can make yourself hoarse really quick and you can create a lot of problems for yourself. So I'm going to share a number of things that I've learned about vocals, particularly pop vocals. And one is how to produce good tone, and one is how to protect your voice and do some warm-ups and that kind of thing. So let's start about talking about your tone. I've been listening to my son, who's 13, who's playing bass, and lo and behold, not only was Alex playing bass, but suddenly he started singing. And he started singing these songs that he's been hearing from Green Day and from Nirvana and folks like that. But what's funny is when he was singing them, he was kind of doing this mock shout when he was singing, but singing them very airy. In other words, almost whispering the shout kind of thing. And he was definitely producing the notes and definitely biting into the melody, the way it should be sung and everything like that. But when you sing and you let a lot of excess air through and are not actually producing sound, you're just talking like this, or even just whispering. That stuff is not great for your vocal cords. Now, your vocal cords are these things down in your throat that are kind of shaped like this, and air shoots through them, and they vibrate and they create a tone. And if they get infected, if they get dried out, if they get irritated, if they get exhausted, then they start to sound like me. There's about one or two little notes I can actually speak right now and or sing, but my highs are gone. There's all kinds of missing places where I can't get any sound right now because I've got an infection on my throat. I probably should even be doing all this talking, but trying to get me to shut up is very difficult to do. Anyway, so the first thing I would tell you is to experiment around with your voice to try to, you could start by talking and recognize the difference between a whisper and actually making tone. And then when you begin to sing, listen to see if you're letting breathiness through or if there's actually an edge to that tone and that tone's being produced. You might, don't do this a lot, but you might, I don't know if you hear that, but like stop the air with your vocal cords. Just do that once or twice. It's not great for your voice. But that's the control right there where you're actually trying to produce tone and not just let air breeze through. When you're singing, take a deep breath, fill your chest, tighten the muscles in your tummy and your diaphragm, and support it. And this is really weird. Know your lyric, because you cannot go for the note unless you know the tones that you're going to be producing. This is very subconscious. But if you're not even sure what you're going to sing, hitting the note is like, especially with emotion or power or clarity or unairiness, is out of the question. Now, in terms of letting air through, you can do that as a technique for being emotional a little bit, but by and large, when you're doing most of your singing, be producing tone, as much tone and as little air as you possibly can. You're going to last a whole lot longer, particularly because then you can back off on how much force you're trying to produce the sound, because you're producing much more actual sound, and you're going to do a whole lot better, and your voice won't rag out as fast. So that's a couple tips. I'm Ryan Michael Galloway. We don't need no stinking record company.com.